Time once again for a 5-minute-ish review. Time loops can be a real pain, and that has never been more the case for the characters in the new horror film Manor of Darkness. Written and directed by Blake Ritter, and starring Kim Spearman, Louis James, Sarah Alexandra Marks, Zhui Xiong, and Stuart Wolf Murray. Chris has learned of an opportunity to find a hidden treasure worth over $2 million in an old manor house. The home's owner is looking for a documentary film crew to visually record the place. Chris talks his estranged sister Laura into helping him pose as a film crew along with his girlfriend Lisa. They also enlist the help of a pickpocket, Andy. While initially against the idea, Laura agrees to help, only to have the money needed to pay for a surgery for her and Chris's mother, who is suffering from cancer. Andy jumps on board in order to have the money needed to sue for joint custody of his son. Arriving at the house, the four begin their search for the treasure while they wait for the owner to arrive. Wandering the large rooms and halls, the women discover a large chest in the basement. Opening it, they find it empty. But was it? Meanwhile, Andy and Chris find a dead body of a woman in the attic and rush to reunite with the others. Before the four can leave, the owner Lucas arrives and welcomes them to the manor. Not wanting to squander the chance at $2 million, the four play along and begin discussing the expectations of the owner with this film. Lucas reveals that he really wants is to see if they can manage to record the presence of his deceased wife, who he believes is haunting the house. When the two women suggest that they may have seen something in the basement, Lucas pulls a knife and stabs Laura. Shocked, the others try to run, but Lucas quickly dispatches them all. Suddenly, Laura finds herself in the entry room again with Chris and Lisa, and she is the only one that seemingly remembers anything about what had just happened. Soon the events replay themselves, and again the four are murdered, with Laura being the only one with any memory of it happening. Realizing that Lucas is also aware of this looping, Laura convinces the others what is happening, and Lucas explains that they have unleashed an entity that will haunt and torture them until Laura, being the one who opened the chest, can figure out a way to kill or trap whatever it is. It is a never-ending but always repeating race against time, with the only way out being a sacrifice that Laura may not be willing to make. I am a sucker for time loop stories. Once I found out that Manor of Darkness was just that, it was a given that I was going to watch it. Now, not all time loop movies are created equal. Some are much better than others, and the horror genre alone has some real standouts. For more lighter fare, the two Happy Death Day films are good examples, and for the more serious slasher fan, 2009's independent film Triangle is best that I've seen. Manor of Darkness falls somewhere closer to Happy Death Day. There are some good slashing and stabbings, but the tone of the film isn't quite as serious. While not a comedy by any means, there is some humor, mostly from the reactions of Laura when she realizes that she has to die in order to fix whatever went wrong in that particular loop. In that, I think the film purposely homages Happy Death Day, and I think you can find a few other nods to some other classic horror films and tropes within the film too. Even some of the music has shades of The Exorcist. I appreciated quite a bit of Manor of Darkness. While I wouldn't call it perfect, it did a good job of providing some initially subtle, turning to not-so-subtle clues as to how many times our characters have gone through the horrific afternoon, and the setting along with the cast helped make the film a fun watch. The only thing I will take off marks for is that I didn't really understand a few flashback scenes. Well, actually saying I didn't understand them isn't the right way to put it. I understood what they were trying to say, but I didn't think they really fit into the film as well as they could have. We get what I'm assuming to be the origin of the entity, as well as a bit of what Lucas himself had to go through, but by the end, I was even questioning that, thanks to a sort of epilogue flashback. Flashbacks can be effective storytelling tools, but here I found them distracting. Maybe if the story they told had been told as a setup rather than interspersed, I'm not sure. I hate to sound like an armchair director, so I'll just leave it at that. Manor of Darkness is well worth your time, despite my few negatives, and you can easily watch it beginning December 9th as it will be available on several streaming platforms, like Amazon, Google Play, and YouTube Movies. Check it out and let me know what you thought of it. Leave a comment below any of the social media posts, or send me an email to timeshifterspodcast@gmail.com.